Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I'm taking this time to introduce our Commissioner, Acting Commissioner Michael Harrison, but I want to thank Councilman President Jack Young for being here and our council persons who are also with us, along with our Comptroller Joan Pratt. I see Mary Pat Clark out of my right side of my eye, and I see,
Madam Mayor?
yes, Zeke Cohen is here. Vice President Middleton.
Right behind you.
And our council. Look, I was waiting for that phone call, but I keep looking at it because we were on the phone the other night, late, and I'm still waiting for my phone call back, but it's okay. So, Costello, thank you so much. And my chief of staff is with us, and also our acting commissioner, and the president of the Roland Park Community Association is also here. Thank you for joining us. But before we get started, I wanted to take a moment and present to our former interim Police Commissioner Gary Tuggle a mayor's salute, and to say thank you. It's been almost a year that you've been holding the police department down. It has been great working with you. Last year we earned almost a 10% reduction in homicides. We actually got under 300, 296, and had to pick up those 13 from previous years. But working with the Violence Reduction Initiative, you were able to reduce homicides by 24%. So in those 7 specific areas, and you heard the numbers again this morning. So thank you for all that you've been doing to keep us on track.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your support.
So having said that, again, I just want to thank you for all the work that you've done with us. But I know the police commissioner is eager to get to work. He's got 9 community meetings that he will be participating in to engage with the community over the next few weeks. And then he's got city council hearings. Mr. President, I will be submitting his name to you and to the council. I know he, again, is eager to get out and do his work. We are grateful. I asked him this morning, I said, how's it feel to see snow coming from New Orleans? It's a little bit of a shocker, but you've experienced it before. But again, we're very, very excited. We're very, very excited. And just to remind the community that the doors will open at 6 p.m. tonight, and the commissioner plans to be there and share his views on community engagement, policing, very much aware of the consent decree and the importance of it, and also in terms of some of our issues as relates to the hiring practices in the police department. All of those issues. And thank you, Mary Pat. But a lot of issues that he will be facing, but I truly believe, and certainly he does, that he's up for the challenge, and coming from a city similar to some of the issues that we had to deal with. So, Acting Commissioner Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, let me say thank you for having the confidence in me and then selecting me to lead the men and women of the Baltimore Police Department. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I've enjoyed a 28-year career in law enforcement, and now this is the evolution of my career, the next chapter in my professional and my personal life. And so my wife and I are eternally grateful for this opportunity to join your team and to lead the men and women of the Baltimore Police Department. And we have settled in, and my wife and I are now residents of Baltimore. We completed our move just last week, and I am excited and eager to get to work. I want to thank our council president and vice president, members of our city council, for being here with me today, and the members of your cabinet, Mayor, for all the support that you've given me and to bring me here and now to get me started. I want to thank every member of this team for being here, all of their support. I want to thank the men and women of the Baltimore Police Department for the work that they're doing. I am eager and looking forward to working with you, working for you, advocating for you to get you all of the resources you need to be successful so that the Baltimore Police Department can be one of the great police departments in American policing. And to the residents of Baltimore, I'm eager to get to know you, to hear from you, to speak with you, to work with you, and engage with you, to make sure that we can build relationships that were never built, improve on good relationships, and certainly repair bad relationships, because it will always be about relationships. And it is the one way that together we will make Baltimore a great police department, make Baltimore a great city. And so I am eager to hear from you tonight through the next couple of weeks at the community meetings. to hear from you, your questions, your concerns, answer your questions. It's very important to me. We've done this before, and I'm excited. I heard the mayor call it a challenge. I see it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the city of Baltimore, for the police department, and for me professionally, and I can't thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. I want to say publicly thank you to Commissioner Tuggle, who's been holding this down, and to the residents of Baltimore. Commissioner Tuggle and I have been speaking every single night since the mayor offered me this position and I accepted. He has been bringing me up to speed, educating me and briefing me on every single thing that happens in the Baltimore Police Department, every decision he has made, and the reasons why and the rationale why he made those decisions. And so thank you so much for all of your support. I appreciate it, and the residents of Baltimore are better because of it. Once again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the City Council. Thank you, residents of Baltimore.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll take a few questions.
Mr. Harrison, what's your first task as you begin in this role as the acting commissioner?
Well, there are two things. First of all, I want to hear from the citizens, the residents of Baltimore. Certainly take their questions, hear their concerns. I want to meet with and hear from the police officers and rank and file of the Baltimore Police Department and hear their concerns. Of course, I'm the #1 advocate for the members of the department to make sure we get the resources and tools we need that I know this team here will give us so that we can be successful. But it's going to be important for me to make both organizational and personnel assessments to see what we need and to see who we need, and to build the appropriate team so that we can be successful. But the most important thing is hearing from the residents, hearing from the rank and file within the police department.
What do you anticipate your first choice that you have to make?
I'm sorry?
What do you anticipate being the first choice or decision that you have to make?
Well, I think the information that will be provided to me through these listening sessions and answering the citizens and residents' questions, meeting with the members of the department, and learning about the nuances of the day-to-day operations will form those decisions. Right now, it's important for me to understand, like I said, what we have, what we need, and who we need to be able to arrive at what will be the first decision. The first decision is to learn and to learn the things that I don't know.
So you have experience with consent decree in New Orleans. How long did it take for you to see some real change in that department because of the implementation of consent decree? And do you have a real sense of what the federal government wants of this police department and how you can achieve it?
Great question. I became the chief of New Orleans in year 2 of that consent decree, and following my predecessor who had the first year, it does take a long time because it is about building a machine, and the machine can't run until you first build it. And so while it looks like things are sometimes moving slow or not moving at all, they're actually moving because it's being built. It took about 5 years for us to be at what we would call substantial compliance in most areas, and then this year, if you look at New Orleans, they're in substantial compliance in most of it, and probably will be at the exit this year, which is record time for a consent decree that large. I suspect that it will be similar here in Baltimore. Several of the members of the consent decree monitoring team here are on the New Orleans consent decree monitoring team, so I'm familiar with quite a few members of that team, and I've already met with the judge in my first week here.
Mr. Harrison, how do you plan to measure success?
Well, certainly we will measure success in a number of ways. It will be, first of all, our ability to reduce crime. It will be in the citizens' satisfaction, and the consent decree requires the monitors to do a citizen satisfaction survey. I will commission our own citizen satisfaction survey so we can have a baseline of how the citizens view us now and then going forward every year. And how the citizens and police engage in those responses and how people will begin to feel about their police department over time, along with crime reduction, along with consent decree compliance, along with culture change, and how we see ourselves and how our citizens view us. All of that working together will give us a picture of how we achieve success, because it's not just one area, it's all of it, all together every day at the same time.
So the federal judge that oversees the consent decree process here, at the last hearing, I forget his exact words, but it was something like he believed that the department had a culture of timidity. They were too timid confronting corruption. How do you intend on sending a message immediately that you're going to root out corruption and you're not going to tolerate any wrongdoing by command staff, the rank and file, or anybody?
Well, great question. You know, I spent almost 10 years in internal affairs as a sergeant and as a lieutenant in the New Orleans Police Department. And it was one of my highest priorities as the chief of the New Orleans Police Department for 4.5 years. It will be no different here. It's very important that we have strong policies and strict discipline, but flexible policies that can change and adapt according to the change of best practices. But there will be no tolerance for corruption. And I will make strong, certain, and swift decisions when those things are brought to my attention, but we want to make sure that we have a very robust, competent, and efficient and effective internal affairs division that can function the way it's supposed to function.
And will there also be no tolerance for crossing those little lines that could later lead to more brazen acts?
But that's a great question. That's about culture change, and it is about changing the way officers think about the decisions they make and building strong consequences through those strong policies that deter officers from making bad decisions in the first place.
We'll take two.
How will you reach out to the city's business community to address the concerns they have that are specific to those entities?
We're already planning to meet with members of the business community. That's something I did on a very frequent basis in New Orleans. I intend to do that again here in Baltimore to make sure I hear their concerns and we can together create strategies and deployment strategies for the police department to work with the business community to alleviate those concerns.
There are already meetings set up with the executive board of the GBC and a luncheon, I believe, with all the business community members, but that's something he plans to do regularly. I think there's one over here.
Since the state's attorney made the announcement that they're not going to prosecute marijuana possession cases, how is the department going to proceed positively to deal with this scenario?
Well, great question. I'm on the way to have that meeting with the state's attorney at 11 o'clock. So immediately following this press conference, we'll have that meeting. And certainly we'll enter into discussions about how we together can approach that dynamic. That's a policy change from the state's attorney, not a law change in the state legislature or in the city code. And so that's an internal state's attorney policy change. I'm on the way to have that meeting so we can have that discussion and together we can figure out how the department can best approach this that satisfies everybody, but make sure that citizens and residents of Baltimore are safe and that the department's following the law and its policies.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.